Welcome to the Busy Webinar. Today for Pages, Posts, and Menus, oh my, we're going to talk about how to edit your website, provided you're working in WordPress 4.0. This will give you an update on how things are working inside of WordPress with the new updates. We covered WordPress 4.0 in a Busy Webinar a couple of weeks back when it was first announced, but we've gotten a lot of questions about what's different, what's new, and how to edit everything that you do in your WordPress installation. So especially for our WordPress friends and clients, this one's for you, and we're going to show you what you need. As every month or as every week we do these, we are looking for feedback from you. I have my Q&A app open, so if you browse your website, would encourage you to please go ahead and connect with us and ask us any questions that you have. As a reminder, and as we wait for folks to join here, you can get to the Busy Webinar by going into the post for today under What's Next at BizzyWeb in the lower left. You click on that, and then you get down into this post. You'll see that you've got your link right in here, and then it says right on here, the play button. If you click this play button, if you're logged into Google+, you'll be able to ask questions and connect with us using the Q&A app. If you would like to join the Hangout and ask additional questions after the half hour, we're going to close down the broadcast portion of this and let folks ask questions as necessary. So if you want to do that, click on this link right here on the Google Hangout. It's right in the middle. I'll actually highlight that so you can see it. So specifically this link right here, the Google Hangout link, is what you're going to want to connect with. However, if you don't want to do that, or if you want to connect up in some other way, if you send a note into sales@BizzyWeb.com, we will figure out what you need and we'll answer that question in line. So let's get right to it. As we do each week, we're going to talk a little bit about BizzyWeb, and then we're going to go right into what's new in WordPress 4.0, what you may have missed, and a little bit more of the ninja tricks on how to get into it. And then we're going to talk about how to edit. So we'll talk about some of my recommendations on what you need to think about and do when you're editing pages and posts, when you're modifying menus, and also when you're tagging and goofing around with images. So if you have questions about that, start thinking of them now. And of course, get those in using that Q&A tool, because that will be handy for you if you get a chance to connect with us there. So that's what we're looking at, and that's what I'm hoping to get, that you'll get out of this today. And so let's keep going. All right, so a little bit about BizzyWeb. Of course, everyone that's been to one of these knows us, but if this is your very first time, first off, welcome. But then second, we are an online marketing company that focuses on two things: web design and ancillary online marketing. So what the online marketing part is helping you broadcast your message, your connections, your tools to get out in front of your audiences as quickly and easily as possible. We're a WordPress web shop, and the way we build our websites, you can publish your web content out to your social media networks with a single click. So if you click publish on a post in your WordPress website, that act goes out on all of these places: Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Google+, Pinterest, and a bunch more. And if you have interest in that or would like to save a bundle of time in your online marketing, give us a call and have us help you out with that. Let's get right into the content for the day. And again, if you are viewing or watching, would encourage you to ask any questions that you have by just going into the Q&A tool inside of Google+. If you go to google.com/plusbizyweb, that would be an easy way to get to us. Or if you want to just click on the YouTube link and then go into the YouTube channel, click on the live button. That's going to take you into your Google+ account. You'll need to be logged in with a Google account, and then you'll be able to ask us questions. So first, WordPress 4.0, aka Benny, named after Benny Goodman, is a massive improvement in the way you can edit content on WordPress. There's some really slick, easy things that we've updated on our website. So I'm going to go to that right now. If you go to the homepage of BizzyWeb.com, on every page there's this navigation up on top, and in the support tab, there's actually a link for tutorial videos. So a lot of these are kind of cliffs noted into this page. So if you go to support and tutorial videos, or of course, if you're a BizzyWeb client, these videos are already embedded on the back end of your website. And so if you want to know about how to add a new post, add a new page, adding images from the media library, deleting, editing images, setting featured pages, or adding hyperlinks or lists, or even menus. All of that information is already available on the website. So go to BizzyWeb.com/support/tutorial videos, or even easier, just go to BizzyWeb.com, go to support, and then tutorial videos, and you'll have high-level updates to everything I'm about to talk about. So first off, in WordPress 4.0, there is a new visual editor and a new media gallery option inside of the tools, and that makes our lives as WordPress editors and content development folks a whole heck of a lot easier. I'll talk about a little bit in a few slides as to what some of those improvements are, but at a very top level, they've streamlined the ability, WordPress has streamlined the ability now to edit your content and to add content in a more straightforward way. The navigation menus have been updated inside of the WordPress editor. And as a matter of fact, as you start typing, the window is automatically kind of shrunk, so you can just see the information that you absolutely need. But then as you type more and more information and get around to that magical 300 or so word spot on your website, the editing window will actually dynamically expand so that you can see as much of your content at once as possible. As you scroll up and down, as it gets even bigger, the toolbar hovers along with you, so you can always add bold, italics, and all that other stuff without having to scroll up and down. And it's just a more pleasing experience throughout. So there's some other updates, including the plugin browser and it's much easier to customize themes and things now. But I'm not going to cover those right here because we covered them a couple weeks ago in our Busy webinar on WordPress 4.0 Benny. For the media gallery, it's very easy to import multiple items now, and I'll demo this in a little bit. But if you want to import or add items to your website, it's now very easy to add and import images. You don't even need to go into the add image gallery anymore. You can literally just drag an image into the window of your editing tool. So if you're on the new post page and you're editing away on a post, if you simply click and drag an image into that box for your edit window where you're already typing, it'll dynamically import that content, walk you through all the details that you need, and you can do as many images as you want inside of there, and in one click, create an entire gallery. So very, very slick and easy stuff. It's also easier to edit individual items. As you go through these, you might import a bunch of different images and details. And when you do that, what you'll probably find is that in the past in particular, you had to click on an image, go into it, click it, and then click done and go out of the window in order to get to the next image and edit your SEO settings, your alt tags, your images. Now all you need to do is toggle along in each image. And again, I will demo that to go between images. So as soon as you're done with one, you click the little right arrow button and it takes you onto the next image in your media gallery. So it makes it very, very simple to take care of. And in a rather huge update, now you can do live previews of your multimedia, whether it be video or audio, right inside of the edit window of the media gallery window. So instead of having to suffer through and open that in a browser or click on a link and download it in order to view a video or an audio file, you can actually just browse it inline, just like you would be able to inside of your actual page. So it's just streamlining everything as we move forward. I know that there are a lot of folks that are now viewing the site, so I'm going to give you one more chance or remind you one more time how to get to everything with us today. If you're watching this webinar or this post, you can go into the BizzyWebinar Pages, Posts, and Menus Oh My post. You're probably watching this in line right here, but if you click on the YouTube link, or if you click on our Google Plus page, you can click over here where that's going to take you is to a new page, and you'll see right up here at the top, there's a little Q&A button and live, it says on here. If you click on that, it's going to open up a live browser window page. And so what that's going to do is allow you to ask questions via the Q&A tool. And I'm going to pause this so I'm not hearing myself talk, but you can ask questions right inside of this window right here. So I'm going to click ask a question. I'm already logged in as me, so this is very simple. Ask questions here. And I'm going to click submit, and you'll see that it'll pop up in the top. And then as soon as I am answering that question, I can answer, and then you'll know which question I'm actually answering as you go through the tool. It's very, very super slick, so I would encourage you to try that out. As we move forward, the next thing inside of the visual editor is, of course, the scrolling toolbar now stays with you as you scroll down the page. And the editor expands automatically as you write. So as if you see this, there's lorem ipsum in this page right here. But the editor window actually is smaller by default as you begin typing. Makes it a little bit less intimidating. And then as soon as you start typing or you get beyond that, this window is actually going to expand to fill up your entire edit screen until it gets to that space, in which time actually you'll be able to scroll up and down, but then the nav bar will stay on the top, or the edit bar stays on the top dynamically, so that you're never missing the edit tools that you need in order to bold, italicize, or align with heading content and bullets and all of that stuff that you would do inside of editing window. So it makes it very simple and easy and keeps the information that you really need at your fingertips. I'm going to go through this in our demo a little bit in a moment, but there's a lot of things that you need to know about creating pages and posts. For most intents and purposes, what you need to do is just edit your content and make sure that your permalinks stay updated. Lee actually has asked when their website is going to get the WordPress 4.0 update. I'll take that right now. And actually what BizzyWeb is doing is we update our software for our clients about once a quarter, and we're doing testing against all of our websites right now to make sure that nothing is going to get broken when we update your website. And so if you haven't seen that your website's already been updated to WordPress 4.0, there's probably a plugin conflict that we know about or that we're working toward, and the team is actually testing that to make sure that you're getting what you need and that your website doesn't get broken when it gets updated. So if you see any updates, again, especially if you're a BizzyWeb client, we encourage our clients not to update any plugins or software without connecting with us, and then move forward from there, because Andy on our team or someone on the BizzyWeb team will actually make those updates for you. So actually, to take that next question that you asked, Lee, BizzyWeb actually does process all of those updates for you. So if you notice that things have been lagging a little bit, or you're wondering, or if you see some of this extra content and you want to get access to it right now, submit a support request to support@bizzyweb.com, or you can also just go to bizzyweb.com/support and enter something in and say, hey, we'd really love to get the extra content in the WordPress 4.0 update. And in particular, for the client that's asking the question, we know that there are a few things that we're just a little bit squeamish about updating the site without checking into that. And so actually, you're on my list to call. So thank you very much. Keep the questions going, and thank you very much for connecting with us. Again, as a reminder on the visual editor, as you publish these things up, you need to pay attention to permalinks. You need to look at editing your excerpt, editing your content, and just make sure that you don't get too crazy when you are editing your content. Your web designer has probably set up a number of styles that are designed to make your website look amazing no matter what platform you're in or what browser you're on. If you start editing or changing colors on texts or fonts, it has the opportunity to get pretty crazy pretty quick. And so it's better to use the heading tags, and that's done through this drop-down menu. And I'll show you that in a moment as well. Another cool thing that's really fun about WordPress 4.0 is that it's much easier to embed videos and audio into your account. If you have a YouTube video, you just grab the URL of that video and you put it in there on its own line. So it would be, the http://youtube.com/your videos URL. If you just paste that in there, it shows up just like you see in here. It actually grabs that video and it places it inside of a nice edit window with a nice little play button on there, and retains all of the settings that you have in YouTube. Same thing with tweets and MP3s. If you have an MP3 that you've gotten from some MP3 broadcasting service, you can just paste the URL of that in there and it'll show up with a slick little MP3 player button that looks kind of like this, but it's just one line because there's no video to display. And same thing with tweets. if you just embed the permalink on the tweet, it'll actually pop in what you see here. It'll put in your image, your Twitter handle, a follow button, the actual content of the tweet, if you have any links, and then the ability to reply, retweet, or favorite that tweet, all from inside WordPress. All I needed to do this was paste the URL into that link. So very, very slick stuff. So as we talk a little bit more detail about pages and posts, pages are almost identical to posts as far as WordPress goes. The difference between pages and posts is that posts are intended to be news, updated content and stuff that gets updated regularly. Pages are like the About Us page, something that you wouldn't, or that you would set or create once, and then you probably wouldn't go back to it very often after that. So any content that's intended to remain static on your site, or that doesn't get changed, or that isn't immediate news, you'll probably want to use a page for. And any of your news or your blog posts or your other content, you're going to want to use posts for. With posts, you get categories, and with pages, you get parent-child relationships on pages. So if you had a subpage under the home page, or a subpage under the About Us page, as BizzyWeb does, you would simply add that as a page, and then in the parent-child relationship, you would say that it's a subpage, that new page is a subpage of the About page, and then that just changes the URL of the page so that it would be, in our example, BizzyWeb.com/about/your page name. So it just helps you in the physical hierarchy of the website link structure. And then inside of menus, you can, of course, change that up to be whatever you want and make just the information that you find most pertinent available to your clients or your visitors, and makes things very simple. The other thing that you want to make sure that you're tending to is the excerpt, because excerpt gets used for social media posts in particular. And I won't talk about it at length here because we've done a BizzyWebinar about this just a couple of weeks ago. But in order to cross-post all of your content to Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Google+, what you'll want to do is use your snap settings. And again, if you're a BizzyWeb client, you have that tool available for you. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go back and check the BizzyWebinar from a couple weeks ago. And if you're still confused after that, go ahead and give us a note at support@iabc.com or BizzyWeb.com, or send us a note by going into BizzyWeb.com/support and dropping us a line, and we will help you out with that. The other thing to think about is featured images. And depending on your theme and design, a featured image might be the text or the content of a massive slider at the top of your website. It might be a little thumbnail image on a homepage, or it might be the image that your social network auto post places into the Facebook post. So depending on how your website works, that featured image is a handy tool. And for most of our clients, there are embedded trainings for your website. So if you're confused about what I'm talking about, just go back to that and take a peek. Menus is the other thing that we love on WordPress. And in particular with WordPress 4.0, there weren't any major changes to this, but I thought it was a good time to revisit this. You can customize and use your own menus if your WordPress website is set up correctly. Now, all BizzyWeb websites use the WordPress default menu structure, and that's for the navigation bars across the tops or sides on your website. But you can tell WordPress how you want your pages and posts to look. And so if I want my homepage or about to be a subpage of the homepage, I can do that here. BizzyWeb also uses content as one of our contact us as one of our options. And then we have pages to general request, buzz builder, or request buzz builders, or request a buzz report. And then we have events and schedules and a bunch of other things on our website. We've made this menu structure a custom option, but all I needed to do was click the checkbox for the page that I wanted, click add to menu, it adds it to the menu at the bottom, and then I drag it up or indent it on the fly as I'm publishing. Always remember to save the menu, to click the blue button for save menu when you're done with it. And if you're just tinkering around and you want to try a new menu structure, my recommendation is to create a new menu using this link at the top, and then you can swap your menus in your theme settings later. Very, very slick and easy. So let's go into a demo quick, and then we'll open up for questions. So as I look at this inside of BizzyWeb's dashboard, this is what you can see on our homepage. And then, of course, if you wanted to create a new post or page, you can go up to the plus new once you're logged in. I did skip the login section. You can do a new post, a new page. You can add new media. In our case, you can add a landing page because we've got custom software for that. And if you're interested in doing landing pages, get a hold of us. But let's assume for now that we wanted to look at a post. And let's also assume for now that I've got a post that I've already connected with or that I've already edited. So I went in here and I clicked this link, and now I'm at the edit post link. Inside of here, this is your title section. And then you want to enter this in. This by default gets added as an H1 on your website, which is great for search engine optimization. In general, I don't recommend using periods on your titles, but when you put that in, you'll notice that the permalink was also created, and I gave my categories as news and BizzyWeb, and so you'll see the parent category inside of there is captured inside of this permalink. So I can edit that permalink there, and if I want to shrink this permalink, I can actually remove all of the default stuff. What it's doing here is it's just adding dashes between and in place of the spaces and or punctuation. So this one is just how-secure-are you new links to, and then it cuts it off after, or new links to find out. If I wanted to shrink that and just talk about house or security tips, I could do that here. I'm not going to do it now because we already have pages that are linking to this, but if you're creating a brand new post, that's the way to do that. And if you wanted to see the edits or what your permalink structure looks like, the best way to do that is to save as a draft. This is already a published post, so I don't see a save as draft link inside of here. But as I'm making changes to my content after I've edited, I can preview those changes without updating the post just by using the preview link inside of this post. Other things that you need to know about, there are sections inside of here. So this is a very cool tool that we found recently. And again, this is in the news section of BizzyWeb, but have I been pawned? This is a spot that proactively finds your website or your email address, and it lists all of the email addresses that have been potentially compromised. You can enter in your email address here and find out if your content was, or if your user ID was compromised, or if you have a password floating out there. I've covered security tips before on BizzyWebinars, but if you're curious or concerned at all about your passwords, my short answer is use a tool like 1Password Pro, which is what we use, but then also change your passwords regularly, because if you don't, and especially if you use 1Password for everything right now, as soon as someone guesses that 1Password, they can grab that and make your life pretty miserable. So if I wanted to make this an H1, I simply need to go and change the heading, and it kind of shows you what it looks like inside of here. I'm going to make this a heading 3. And same thing on this one. I'm going to make this a heading 3. This is great for search engine optimization because that's what Google looks for. But then you'll notice that the update button has started blinking now. I can preview those changes, or I can simply update. I know what I'm doing, so I'm just going to click update, and you can see this little spinny thing shows up. Works pretty slick. If I wanted to add another image to the site, all I need to do now is go off of my screen and grab it, and you'll see I've grabbed this image, and it just automatically changes, and it says drop files to upload. You used to have to go through a upload or add media button, which is still available. This add media button is still available here. But were I to release my mouse on this, it would have prompted me through the upload settings. Now, this is just a client logo, so I don't necessarily want to load that into this particular space, but that's where it is. Another thing to note inside of here that you may not have noticed before is revisions are available in posts and pages. So if you've updated your post or your page recently and you wanted to revert, or something that you didn't work out right, or if you had changed a post because you had an event coming up and then that event passed and you wanted to go back to a different version of that post, you can simply click on the Browse button inside of Revisions, and it'll tell you what's happening. So this is just telling me what the differences are. So basically the difference here is that I changed the title a little bit. And then if I wanted to compare revisions, I could go into that. You can actually scroll back and look at the pages as they are set. And if I wanted to revert, I can click on this, and then I can just click Restore this revision, and it'll actually bring me back. Return to the post editor if you want to go back to that, but super slick way of going back and changing things. Talked about excerpts. Again, this is what your social media poster is going to use to highlight content. This is also what your homepage might have on it in order to feature specific content, and it gives you a little bit more control. By default, your post or your excerpt might be hidden. If you click the screen options up in the top corner, you can turn on or off specific items inside of your category. So if I wanted to have the send trackbacks box shown inside of that window, I can do that. If I have a smaller screen and I only want one column versus two as shown here, then I would simply click one column. And if I did that, it would actually change it so that everything's in there. Right now, by default, expand the editor, match the window height is highlighted, which again is very slick. But when I go into that, that's how this stuff works. You can actually also revisit or drag around specific post page or page items. So sidebar sections, Shareaholic, all this other stuff that I have in here. If I have something that's super important, like if I wanted categories to be on top of my publish window for some reason, I could do that. Personally, I like to have my publish options available in the upper right so that it's always in one spot. And so that's where I keep my items. If you wanted to minimize those, you can actually minimize them by clicking them here. But again, very simple, very easy, and very kind of straightforward. In addition to Excerpt, with all of our themes and designs, there is also theme SEO settings built into the site. And so if you have taken the time to edit your post or your page, the next thing that you should also do is take a little bit of time to edit the search engine optimization settings, the custom title that your post or page will display to Google, and the custom description that's like a 1-2 punch or a sales pitch on Google to explain to people why they should click on your post. Now, this doesn't necessarily help you much in search engine optimization or help you to actually rank higher. The content of the post is what mostly guides that, including the H1, H2, H3 tags and other details. But this does tell Google what to display, so it makes your link much more likely to be clicked because you can author or change that post link to exactly what you need inside of that window. Very slick, very easy, and works pretty darn well. We also talked about menus today, and so here's a demo of the menu structure. If I wanted to change something in my menus, again, if I wanted to add BuzzBuilders information, this is a recent page. I can actually search for a specific page if I don't remember where it was, or if scrolling in the most recent items isn't showing anything. But for our purposes today, let's just add the BuzzBuilders information page to the menu. I click the button, I click Add to Menu, this little thingy shows up, and now you'll notice that all the way down at the bottom, this BuzzBuilders information request has showed up. So if I wanted to make this a subpage of blog, I simply drag it up and make it a subpage of blog. If I wanted it to be a subpage of BizzyWebinars, I could actually drag it further over to the right, and now it's a subpage of BizzyWebinars. So now if you were to hover over blog in my navigation menu and go over to the BizzyWebinars sub item, this would fly out underneath that. Now, I don't necessarily want that, so I'm just going to click this button and I'm going to click remove. That's removed it entirely from the page, and I can click Save Menu to save the changes that I've made. Now, by default, you can select to automatically add new top-level pages to your menu. This works well if you don't often update your page, or if the pages that you do add tend to be important enough that you want to add them to the navigation. By default, we leave that checked off because most of our clients want to have just a little bit more control than what you can get just by having pages get automatically added to the navigation menu. And it's pretty darn easy to add pages to the nav menu, so why not just do it on your own? I think that pretty much covers what I wanted to cover for today. And so now's my big chance, again, to ask you to ask questions about anything under the sun. So if you have questions or specific details, go into, again, our google.com/+BizzyWeb. So if I type google.com/+BizzyWeb, or if I've clicked into the edit gallery, provided I already have a account on Google, I'll be able to see this post. And again, this post is in here, and I can just click on this Q&A button right here. I need to scroll up just a little bit, but when I click on this, it's going to open it up in a new window, and I'll be able to ask those questions. This is your chance to do that. If you would like to ask specific questions, or if you have questions that you don't necessarily want to be covered on a recorded broadcast, then the way to get to that content or to log into the actual Hangout is first to make sure that you're logged into Google, but then click on this link, this Google Hangout link, in order to join our Hangout. You do have to have a Google account in order to do that, but if you click this link, you're going to join our Hangout. We're going to be online for the next 15, 20 minutes to make sure that we're answering any questions that you have and giving you any tech support that you need. I'm going to switch back to our presentation for just a moment to wrap up and remind you that, of course, BizzyWeb does all this stuff for you. So if you have questions or concerns, BizzyWeb does web design, brilliant design intended to integrate with social media, be fully search engine optimized and mobile responsive, built for all mobile devices. We also do hosting. And so questions that were coming in earlier today were from BizzyWeb hosted clients. And so for those clients, we actually monitor, maintain, and update WordPress software for our clients in addition to a number of things like custom software and plugins that you don't get access to any other way. We have developers licenses, and we give our clients access to everything that we have developers licenses for. In addition, we do online marketing. So if you need help with your email marketing, putting together online advertising, or really doing anything on the web beyond your website, BizzyWeb can help you with that. So if you need help generating more leads with your clients, if you need help deepening your relationships with your existing clients, if you want help search or ranking better on search engines, or if you need help just building and promoting your products or services, BizzyWeb has content and programs to help you do that. Join us every Wednesday. Next week, we're going to be talking about offers and promotions. So how to take an offer or a promotion and make it work for you. And we do have a very special event next week, and that is Google Analytics for Business, featuring Ben Tice, former employee of Google, and myself. We're going to take you through a 90-minute event and show you how to use Google Analytics. This is going to be live in person at BizzyWeb. It's one of our rare paid events, but it's only $75, and I guarantee you're going to get a massive amount of value and information out of that 90-minute segment. Ben is just a brilliant Google advocate. He was a Google employee for a good long time, and now he has his own online marketing company. And so we're tag teaming on this because we wanted to lean on each other's skills and expertise. It's going to be a fantastic event. It's hosted right at BizzyWeb's headquarters in Champlin. We're 15 minutes out of downtown Minneapolis, so don't freak out about the Champlin address. But if you have some time, next Thursday from 1:30 to 3, we are going to be having that event and would love to have you join. We're going to close down registration at the end of the week, so please register soon if you're planning to. Finally, if you'd like more information or to find out more of what you can do, this applies to existing BizzyWeb clients as well as anyone that's on the call or on the webinar. Would love to have you fill out a Buzz Report request form at BizzyWeb.com/buzz. If you do that, we're going to look at your website, your online marketing, and your social media, your search engine optimization and how your website is doing as far as rankings on the web. And we're going to give you tips, tools, and advice on what you can do to get even better results. So go to BizzyWeb.com/buzz and request that up. Again, next week, we've got some very cool stuff happening. We've got Google Analytics for Business, which I'm super excited about, $75 ahead, but it's next Thursday. And next week on our BizzyWebinar, we're going to be talking about offers and promotions. Again, I am Dave Meyer with BizzyWeb, encouraging you to please check us out and connect up with us again, and reminding you that at BizzyWeb, we help you generate buzz without getting stung. Have an absolutely fantastic week, and we'll see you then.